I, 26F, have been with my husband, 29M, let's call him Kyle, for 7 years, married for 4. Our relationship began as something too good to be true. He was amazing and made my life so much brighter, and we were truly best friends from the start. We moved in together after only 3 weeks of knowing each other and were inseparable. We were the couple people would say, I just want something like you and Kyle, you two are so perfect for each other, and Elle agreed. We weren't each other's typical type and it felt like the universe brought us together. A year and a half later, he planned an elaborate proposal and we got engaged. It was magical, I couldn't have planned anything more special and romantic. We planned to get married a year and a half later. After a year, we went on our bachelor/bachelorette trips, and we had our first fight after being together for 2.5 years. Since my bachelorette party was a month before his, he set some ground rules, call every night when you get back to the house and no hanging out at houses with men, for me, and women, for him. My bachelorette party went perfectly without even a temptation of breaking the rules, just a weekend hanging out on the beach with my girls. Skip to his bachelor party, he disappears for 6 hours. No calls, not texts. And then I see on one of his friends' social media posts that they are hanging out with a group of girls, and in the video Kyle is standing really close to a girl in a red bikini. They are talking, and she is holding his phone in her hand. I tried calling and texting him and his friends for hours without a response. When I finally got in contact with him, he said his phone was inside charging and he was drunk and didn't think them hanging out with the girls would be an issue. I'm not stupid, I know he most likely cheated on me, but I chose to go forward with the wedding, which was now only 3 months away, partly because I loved him and knew LD forgive him eventually, and my parents had already spent a lot of money on our wedding. Our wedding was beautiful and it was a perfect day. Shortly after, COVID hit and we were stuck not being able to live our normal life of going out and traveling often. 9 months into marriage, I found out that he had created a fake social media account. I say fake because it was not his main profile, but he used his real name, Stupid, and was following several women. One was his ex. I made him pack his things and move out of our house. After being separated for 3 weeks, I found no evidence that he was actually contacting any of these women. He promised he'd never do something like that again. I forgave him and he moved back in. My family was also encouraging me to get back together with him. Our relationship was never better, it felt stronger and we were more connected. We bought our first house 1.5 years later and found out I was pregnant 4 months after we moved in. This is where everything begins to crumble. We did talk about me getting off of my birth control and decided it was the right time for us to start trying for a baby. But when I told him I was pregnant, he did not have the reaction I thought he would have. A big reason why I fell in love with this man is because I knew he'd be a great father. He's amazing with other kids and always talked about wanting a family of his own. He's a big kid at heart. When it came to my pregnancy, he didn't want to talk about anything baby related and seemed to pretend the baby didn't exist. He started going out more without me and planned more guys' trips. I didn't mind, I'm more of a homebody and loved being at home, nesting and preparing for the baby to come. I thought he was feeling overwhelmed with the life change that would be here soon and just needed some time to let his hair down. I am not a jealous person. I was very confident that he wouldn't cheat on me because he was my best friend. I did everything for him and his friends would often talk about how lucky he was to have me as his partner. I also think I'm quite beautiful. He also began to treat me as more of a roommate during this crisis. We have had a few small arguments in the past of him taking advantage of me cooking and cleaning for him without him showing appreciation. He stopped taking me on dates or even asking me if I would want to go with him and his friends when they'd hang out. This was shocking to me because we had been inseparable for the last 5 years. I found out 3 weeks ago that he cheated on me while on one of his boys' trips last summer. He met a girl at a bar, bought her drinks, danced and made out, even took a picture together. They exchanged numbers and the next day she found out he was married and he blocked her on all of his social media and her phone number. This is how I found her. 2 weeks prior to me finding out about this girl, I found his anonymous online profile and saw that he had been sending explicit photos. I confronted him and he apologized, saying he was depressed. I had already planned to leave and move in with my mom for a while. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something else that I was missing, so I checked his blocked accounts on social media and thought it was strange that there was a girl I didn't know on the list. I messaged her and she spilt the tea, even telling me that his friends were lying with him, telling her he was single. I confronted him and he said she was lying, of course. I left and moved in with my mom. Since then I have found out other information, not as damning, but activity that I wouldn't want my husband doing behind my back. I feel sick and devastated that he could do something like this to not only me, but to our child. Did I mention I was at home alone for 8 days with our 5-month-old baby while he was on this trip where he made out with another girl? I feel like I sacrificed so much of my happiness for this man. Trying to make his life as happy as possible, and he gave it all up for what? Like I said, I'm not stupid, so I know there are probably more instances of him cheating, but I don't want to know. I'm already done. Update, not sure if anyone will care, but LVE found myself thinking about this post a lot and wanted to give an update. I posted here around 9 months ago about leaving my husband after finding out he had been cheating on me. The first few months were hard. I tried to maintain a friendship with him for the sake of our son, but just found myself getting hurt over and over again, so I distanced myself, and after a while I decided to get on a dating app, mostly to keep my mind off of him. I met someone and we connected instantly. I'll call him Matt. We texted and talked for a week before meeting in person. I didn't think it would be serious, I just wanted to get out of the house and have some fun. Turns out, he's an amazing man. I didn't even know people like him existed. He's sweet and thoughtful. He makes me laugh until I can't breathe. He's understanding, supportive, and actually listens when I talk to him. He's a parent too and loves his kids more than anything. I've now been dating Matt for 6 months, and I don't think LVE ever been this happy in my life. I look back at my marriage with Kyle in disbelief. How did I not notice how terrible he was for so long? Matt brings me flowers and surprises me with date nights and little gifts just to show he was thinking about me when we aren't together. Despite living an hour away, he brings food to me and my son when we are sick. If I'm having a bad day, he lets me talk his ear off and drops off my favorite sweets at my house. Matt is an amazing cook and we trade off nights in the kitchen. When it's my turn to cook, he spends quality time with the kids. The laughter in the house is almost constant. This is so far off from what my life was with Kyle. My ex only sees our son about 4 days a month and is constantly finding excuses to leave him with me or drop him off with his grandparents for the weekend. Being with a man who loves his kids and mine has really opened my eyes to what kind of a father Kyle is. Matt and I don't live together. He spends a lot of time at my house because my home is bigger, it accommodates all of us better than his house, and I have my son almost every day. Despite not living with me, he helps clean, does laundry and helps fix things around the house. He always comments that I don't let him do enough, but he does more for me than anyone ever has in my life. He picks me up and takes on so much that he doesn't have to, but he does it with a smile on his face. He never lets a day pass without telling me how much he loves and appreciates me. I have learned from my past and won't be moving in with anyone anytime soon. I was fooled once, and that won't happen again. Neither Matt or I want any more kids, so we are happy with the way our life is now. No pressure, just living our lives happily alongside each other with our kids. To everyone out there who hopes your partner will change and grow up. They won't, and most likely never will. Find someone who makes you happy because they want to, not because you're begging them to. There are good people out there.